10 o'clock, we allow you, the listener, to phone in and offer your thoughts on what we are discussing. You can do so by reaching us via the number 0814-335-9292. The line for calls on the program once again is 0814-335-9292. At 10 o'clock, the line will be available for you to call in. Meanwhile, the SMS line through which you can also participate on the program is 0912-699-9404. The line for SMS, WhatsApp, and WhatsApp once again is 0912-699-9404. If you are utilizing it, please remember to include your full name and where you are sending your message from. Log on to our website on www.iGateRadioTV.com to listen to us and access other content of iGate Radio as well. We're available on Radio Garden and on social media platforms where our content is streaming. You may also download the iGate Radio and TV app from Google Play Store as well as Apple Store, where you can also have it on your iOS device. We're available on all these platforms to serve you beyond boundaries. Please stay with us as we take a short breather, and once we are back, the discussion begins. Welcome back from that short breather. Let me begin with you, Mr. Sam Kangi. To speak to us, in your opinion, how essential is transparency in governance and the place of citizen participation in a democratic process?
Thank you very much. First and foremost, I want us to define transparency. We define governance, exactly what we're talking about.
Very well.
Because if we just leave it blank, people will be assuming. First and foremost, transparency simply means honesty, clarity. You have to be honest, you have to be clear on what you're doing, and that is transparency. And governance is a system and process that leads to managing an organization. It could be a country, it could be a corporate entity like yours, and of course, citizen participation is involving the masses, the people, in the various forms and decisions that government or institutions are taking that citizens. We also have town hall meetings that are expected to attend. We have our issues on demonstrations and advocacy, where people clearly go out to say that this is what we want and this is what we don't want. And all of these are all parts of our participations in government. And then, of course, government and serve the people better. These are all participatory agents of the citizens. Having said that, I want to say transparency is very, very important in governance, especially in a democratic setting where opinions are sought. Because first and foremost, the government is said to be for the people, by the people. That means the people are voting in a government, and they are expected to be consulted on critical issues before the machinery of government takes key decisions on them, because these things are going to affect them. And when citizens participate at the level of decision making, either in town hall meetings, in advocacy, and all of that, it becomes easier for the people to buy into a government program. So when people buy into a government program, it becomes wholly owned by the people and the machinery of government. It becomes easier for government to execute those plans because the people are willing to be part of the execution. Some people offering their services for free. For instance, on the issue of open grazing in Benue State, sometime in 2015, a group came out, MAFO, and they advocated for a law to enable the people, the government of Benue State, secure the people of Benue. And by 2017, the government of the day had passed that law into existence. The people participated in drafting that law because the government on its part brought in something that we felt was not good enough. And we went about making presentations at the public hearings of the law. The people were participating. There were some elements of transparency. By the end of the day, I won't say it was 100%, but at least it was above 70% of what the people wanted. So the law was enacted, and people that initially in government did not want that law to be passed now saw that it is a beautiful thing altogether, and this is what our people want. And they passed the law. In 2005, National Assembly, almost everybody that spoke on the matter said, my people say I should come and say no to third term. They didn't speak much, but they spoke volumes. That means they were in touch with our people. We didn't want a third term. Our presidential system said 2 terms. So they were not going to amend the Constitution of the Federal Government of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, to suit the whims and caprices of a person. Now, coming home, if we are not participating in governance, no machinery of government has the monopoly of knowledge. Some people are not into governance, not because they are not competent, but because they don't find themselves in the right environment at the right time to be in governance. So when that happens, it doesn't take away their ability to contribute to government. So if government wants to do anything and it's brought to the town hall, these people will be present in the town hall and they will give their contributions in technical areas and in core professional areas, in everything. But when the government doesn't do that, the people become suspicious of that government.
All right. Now, Mr. Pillar, yes, let's also have your thoughts on what is the place of transparency in governance and citizens' participation in a democracy.
Definitions my brother SK has given here. When you talk about transparency in government, transparency in government literally means letting the people you are leading know what is happening in government. What you are going to do, once you have won, you have that every your plans for them in trust. They have them to rule over them. And so whatever you are going to do, they are supposed to know. And that is what ordinarily or literally transparency in governance means. How do this happen? You want to do a policy in government. There are, for everything you want to do, if it is an award, you are expected to follow it. And that is why if you look at most of the provisions, people are expected to participate in these policies from the onset. Take for instance, how do you award contracts? You are expected to advertise those contracts. There will be bidding, and then evaluations will be done before awards. When these contracts are advertised, you are in tenders board, in national dailies, online, and all that, based on what particular project you want to embark upon.
Yes.
Now, when you advertise, the contractors that have applied or have bidded for the contract are also known. It's not a hidden thing. It shouldn't be shrouded in secrecy. Let the people know that I want to award a contract of so and so for so amount of money. They are supposed to know because it is their own money. It's not your money. And so, for the state government, sorry, I want to break it down further. Perfect. For the state government, you have a state executive council. This state executive council is made up of commissioners and in some instances few advisors that are members of the state ESCO. These people are drawn from various constituencies, from local governments. They are representing the people. And so, not everybody, like Benue for instance, we have over 6 million people. Not everybody can be in government house. But I have a representative in the state executive council. I also have a representative in the state house of assembly. And so, through these people, I am participating. I am supposed to be participating in government. And so, when contracts like this are supposed to be even advertised, first the ESCO will discuss it. My representative in that ESCO is expected to be in touch with me, or by me I mean the constituent. Yes, before he goes to lend his voice, the man in state house of assembly also does the same thing, so that whatever he is saying, he's not saying from his own position alone. He's talking about the entire people he is representing, And that is how we participate in government. Government, at the level of governor, you're expected to be carrying out, you're expected to have interactions with your people. You have critical calls, you have certain times you dedicate to listen to the people. You give them audience to tell you when there are certain things that maybe the people you appoint might not want to tell you the way they want to, they don't want to offend you. But when you listen to people, they tell you the truth. And when you come back, you sieve the information or whatever you have gotten. And so through these stages, people participate in government. When government activities are shrouded in secrecy, it means it has denied the people of participation. You just wake up and see that a contract has been awarded. You just wake up and see that something is happening here. We are supposed to know before it happens.
All right. Now, Mr. Sam Kange.
Yes.
As an analyst, this government and the local government, 2 years, soon it will clock 2 years. What would be your transparency rating or assessment of the government in the formulation and implementation of its policies and programs across board?
Thank you very much. Across board, at the local government level in Benue, I would say it's also very, very poor. At the federal government, I would say something. Why am I confident? Why am I so sure of what I'm saying? I'm in Benue State, and I've spent most of the last 2 years in Benue State, of course. Have we had a town hall meeting in Benue State, led by the Benue State Executive Council? How many times have the governor spoken to the people of Benue State, either in town hall meetings or media chats? He just had a media chat, the first one so far. The State House of Assembly has passed several laws. How many of them have been advertised for public hearing? And how many of them have we attended? They've passed the laws. It clearly means that they have assumed that they know what we want. That is wrong. They're only assuming. There are cases where both arms of government may even do what we want, but we may not have an input. That means there was no opponent. It was only a coincidence that we liked what they did. We didn't have an input. And that input is very, very important. Be it a budgetary allocation, either way, like Dan said, we need to know, we need to participate, we need to make contributions. A few weeks ago, there was quite a lot of noise on an award of a contract of a road from the Urukum roundabout, the Food Basket roundabout, 54 kilometers altogether. People were saying the amount is too high. 68 billion naira.
Public domain.
Yes.
Based on what we have.
68 billion naira. She said what she had on her table was 28 billion naira. There's a disparity. About 40 billion naira. That is too much. By every standard, that is too much. The Benue State Executive Council, like Dan said, ought to have consulted with us. Now, some people will say the other State Executive Council were not consulting. That is not to say you shouldn't consult. That is one. Their time has come and gone. We didn't ask questions. In your time, you are fortunate or unfortunate, we are asking questions. We want more participation. In that time, we didn't want more participation, or we didn't know that we ought to have had more participation. Now we know, we want, and we are demanding for it. So the Benue State Executive Council, led by the Executive Governor of Benue State, ought to know, needs to know, and also needs to apply the methods that will be all-encompassing for the people of Benue. Some of our friends, private level, this is what we are thinking that should be done for the people of Benue. These are our thoughts. Can I pick your brains? And you are available. It could be at home, not necessarily official, but consultations must be made if we are being transparent. But when you keg everything, it becomes difficult. There is this story about an NGO who went to a community that had no water and dug boreholes all over the place. Unfortunately, members of that community were not so endowed materially, and most of them lived in a one-room thatch house. But there was a stream that never went dry, even in the dry season. And so during the day, the children would go to the stream to get water for the family. It was when the children were at the stream getting water and swimming and catching their fun that their parents had the opportunity to make more babies. So one day, when the NGO went back for evaluation of their project, they discovered that all the boreholes were destroyed. And when asked, the people said, no, our problem, if you had asked us, was not water. Our problems was better accommodation. This is our situation. And I think by the end of the day, if we are not careful at all levels, and that has been our band at the state and at the national level, because we are not consulted most of the times, projects that are given to us are not exactly the kind of things that we want. The average person in Makurdi will want potable water. The cost of water in Makurdi is very, very high. Makurdi is in the tropics, in the cold tropics of Nigeria. And in this season, all of us know what we are going through. I think a sachet of water is 50 naira. 3 sachets for 100 naira. A bottle of water is about 300 naira now. You are lucky you can get at 200 naira. And those are not the acclaimed brands. And so you begin to imagine a bottle of water for 200 naira, a sachet of water for 50 naira. But if the government asks us, we want water, how do we get water? You can include reticulation of water in Makurdi and environs by a company. And when that company comes in, there's going to be a law that will stop people from drilling personal boreholes. It becomes easier. The company reticulates, supplies water, gets money from the people, and makes up from its investment. And in 5-7 years, get their return on investment and begin to make profit. So it's good business for everybody. The issues of everybody drilling a borehole, and of course you know that sometimes on one street we have 10 boreholes, and the whole street has less than 60 houses. 10 boreholes on one street, because everybody is capable of drilling one. And no two people want to share a borehole, even when that is also doable. And so these are the kind of things that we are looking at. Government has to come to the people and know exactly what their needs are.
All right. Okay, now, Mr. Pillar, let's also have you weigh in your holistic assessment of the government. And as I stated, it's across the 3 tiers of government: federal, state, and the local government, especially the current administration we have in place. What is your transparency rating in the formulation of their policies and programs?
Let me start in an ascending order.
All right.
I don't think anything is happening at the local government level. With the greatest respect, there is no government, in quote, at the local government level.
You know, legally,
that's what I say in court.
By provisions of the laws of the land, we have government.
Okay.
So let's.
I'm sorry. Please let me withdraw. So that's why I say in court. That's why I say in court.
Yes.
I didn't say outright. I put it in court.
Because at least no state of emergency has been declared in any local government in the country. So.
Okay. Now, why do I say that? We have a local government system in. Let me use Benue for instance. That is getting a lot of money from the federation account. The only time we know that monies have entered into these local governments is when FAC publishes those figures on their website, and you go there to see, is this what has been given to my local government? You see homogous amount of money, very large amount of money coming into the local governments. But as I speak to you, at least 98% of those local government chairmen are sleeping in Makurdi. They don't go to their local governments. At least 98% of them. They only go there sometimes twice a month. Whether they hold the FRGPC that is required by law, nobody knows. They don't do it. Because they are in Makurdi, everything is happening in Makurdi. So the entire local government system in Benue is run in Makurdi. They don't go to their various local governments. They don't hold their FRGPC. They don't present any budget to their legislature. If you have seen any, please let me know, because I have not. This is a since they came into office, I have not seen anywhere that a local government chairman has presented his budget to the councillors, who are the legislature in that local government. And so, how they spend their money, I don't know. Who appropriates this money they spend, nobody knows. What are they spending the money on, we don't know, because there is no single covert, a drainage, a small one that is 100 meters, that has been completed or has been started by any of the local governments in the state. By this I mean the 23 local governments. Me, I have not seen any. I saw a few pictures of the guy from Goma doing a few things, which is appreciated. That I must appreciate him. But for the rest of the other ones, I have not seen anything new. And so there is no transparency in the local government system. There is nothing like transparency, anything near transparency in the local government system in Benue State. For other states, I may not have the opportunity, or I have not known yet. So let me not comment on the local government. I want to comment on Benue because I'm here and I've known so much about the local government system in Benue State. Now, for the state government, it's unfortunate that we have a government that is running like a SO administrator. In the first 1 month of this government, the current government, the governor awarded contracts, several contracts. There was no ESCO. There was no commissioner. It was only him, the deputy governor, the chief of staff, and I think the SSG and head of service there. And then he went ahead to award contracts. We know that the governor has a limit to which he can make approvals. There is an approval limit for the governor. So any amount of money above his approval limit must revert to ESCO. It must go to ESCO. The State Executive Council must sit and approve such monies or contracts before they even go into the appropriation bill to be sent to the Benue State House of Assembly. Within 30 days, there was no commissioner. Contracts were awarded here. There was no advertisement. There was no bidding. Nothing. There was no evaluation. Nothing happened. The office of the procurement, how do you call it, Bureau for Procurement, didn't come out to tell us this is our pricing standards. This is the evaluation we have done. Nothing of such took place. We only saw that contracts were awarded. And so, over time, it is only a few months ago that the ESCO came out to say they have approved the award of contracts for so and so contracts. That was the first time we've seen it in the state, and this is close to 2 years. And so there's nothing like transparency here. I don't want to delve into some of the issues. I don't want to be personal, but you see, like SK said, we have an award of a contract for a road from the Wurkun roundabout up to, is it Chomo or Air Force Base? Because there are discordant tunes. I don't know which one is correct. Was that contract in the appropriation law of Benue State for 2025? The answer is no. Why was it not included in the appropriation law? Nobody knows. We have not been told. Why are you delving into a federal road without first obtaining the approval of the federal government? We don't know. We have several state roads that are begging for repairs. And so, a government that is transparent should be able to hold town hall meetings with its people. You should go to Zone C, organize a town hall meeting, call all the stakeholders what do you want? They tell you. That is how a government that is transparent, or a government that wants to carry his people along should cross party lines. religious leaders. By the time you are through with these things, you should be able to know, like SK said, you might see that somebody is lacking water, but if you ask him, he will prefer accommodation to that water. And so when we do these things, we are able to marshal out our policies better to suit the people. We have a blueprint. Has anybody opened that book, that blueprint, ever since inauguration? Because I am sure that if that blueprint has been studied or is being followed, some of the projects we see today that you wake up every day, the governor just sit down, anywhere he's going, he stops and says, I have awarded this kind. This kind of things shouldn't be happening. Contracts should be awarded following due process. They should be awarded following due process. And so, at the end of the day, because somebody must account for the monies that have been spent, at the end of the day, somebody must account for it. This is not the money that someone has sold farm produce. This money comes from Abuja. It is for the people. And the people ought to know what the money is being used for. Is it for our benefit? Is it for what we want? We ought to know. The people must have participation. And these are the areas, like SK said, for 2 years, the governor held a media chat for the first time. And I want to be corrected. I was told local media, all the local stations did not cover the media chat. You are here, I don't know if I get radio covered, but I didn't hear it from any of the local stations, which is bad. This media chat, the first...
Let me just come in quickly.
Let's allow him to conclude his thoughts, then I will allow...
Okay.
So I want to be corrected.
Yes.
Now, this media chat ought to have been sent down to the rural community. Everybody ought to know what is our governor saying. So by denying the local media coverage of that media chat, something tells me that it was designed to suit a particular purpose and not for the populace. The governor is supposed to be going to the radio regularly to talk to his people. Hello, people, but Benue people, this is what A, B, and C. You tell people. Sometimes you may even allow people to go on a phoning program where people can call. I've seen governors do this here.
All right. That's okay. Now, Mr. Samkange, you were itching to say something. And in the midst of all this, we also have a government at the center, the federal government. President Tinubu is there. Let's also critique what he's doing. Are the policies and programs of his government at the federal transparent enough to the Nigerians?
Not transparent enough at all.
Speak to that.
Not transparent at all.
Yes.
You see, the challenge we have, like Dan said, if you are having a town hall meeting, if you are having a media chat in Benue, the Benue media should cover it. When my dad retired from the Navy and was living in Boko, I would always buy newspapers. I would buy national dailies. And my dad would always ask me, where is the voice? Yes. So where is the voice? I said, I didn't buy our voice. He said, look. He said, no, I'm not a national man. I'm in Boko. I need to know about Benue.
Yes.
Every time you go and bring...
your dad initiated the concept of all politics is local.
Something like that. Something like that. But he insisted that if you are buying dailies, there must be a local paper. Don't go and bring Newswatch to me. Don't go and bring National Concord. Don't go and bring Daily Times to me. No. Buy the local paper. I want to know what is happening in Benue. I am in Benue. I'm not a national man. I'm a local man here in Benue, in Boko. So you give me the local paper. I know what is happening to my state. And that is how it was. That is the same thing that we expect of the governance process in Benue and elsewhere. The people must be at home with the local people. Well-publicized media chats for Benue people to participate. Now, at the national level, like you said,
yes,
it's almost the same thing. They are not transparent. Where they are transparent, they are not consistent. I mean, we need improvements on all fronts. What major policy has President Tinubu taken that he has involved Nigerians? Nigerians have discussed it and come with a conclusion. This is what we are looking at. You are taking loans every other day. You are not consulting us. The National Assembly approves of these things. The same thing with Our state government, they are not taking loans, of course, but whatever the governor wants, the assembly does. I'll tell you one thing that is very shocking that many Benue people don't know. The Benue State House of Assembly sometime last year had cause to request the security advisor to appear before them. Then it was only one security advisor. I think that is her. When he went before them, they asked him a very critical question. The Benue State House of Assembly had realized that the Fulanis were openly grazing in Benue, and they asked the security advisor if he was aware of that.
Anyway, for purpose of our public engagement, everybody is to me only one country.
As an excuse. And he said yes. They asked him what happens to the enactment part of the anti-grazing law, and he said he has suspended it. I remember two members of the assembly were so pained that one of them asked him, "Do you have the powers?" I am quoting. "Do you have the powers to suspend a law or any part of the law that this honorable assembly has enacted?" And the man kept quiet. Come on. The state assembly says this, and you are an individual now says this, and everything went well. After that, we didn't hear much about that. The man was not sacked by his principal, the governor of Benue State. Apparently, maybe that was the body language of the governor, which is not impossible. But these are the kind of things we are talking about. Same thing with the National Assembly. When issues come up, what do the National Assembly do? What does the National Assembly do, I mean? So the president must speak to us directly as a people. There are times that the president needs to speak to us. So when we are talking about transparency, we are talking about accountability. Are they accountable to us? The answer is no. And that is why the governor may wake up one day and decide that the road in front of my house should be blocked, and it will be blocked. He's not accountable to me. That is why the governor will wake up one day and say that the road in front of my house should be tarred, and it will be tarred. Why? He's not accountable to me. So he does what he wants. The same thing with the president. And I will tell you, even at the local government level, the chairman of a local council will say that if he is on ground. Once he goes back to his headquarters and is not in Makurdi, he can afford to do that to his people and nothing will happen. The truth is, when you are voted into office, like the late Father Adasi used to tell us, he would say, "Pikin boy, I am governor. I am governor for everybody. NRC, I am your governor. SDP, I am your governor. Everybody in Benue, I am your governor. I don't do this for NRC. I don't do this for SDP. I do it for..." Once you are voted into office, you become the common property of the people. And like the thief will say, that is, as the number one man of the house, you have become the heap of the West bin. Everything is heaped on you. You should be able to take responsibility graciously. And where you are wrong, you should accept. It's something I expect of the president. So it's not just about the governor, it's about everybody.
Absolutely. All right. Now, dear listener, if you are just tuning in, you've been listening to Perspectives on iGate Radio 95.5 Star FM Makurdi. Our discussion on the program this morning is focused on transparency in governance and citizens' participation. You can phone in at 10 o'clock on the number 0814-335-9292. The number to participate on the program, once again, is 0814-335-9292. In the meantime, the SMS line is also available, 0912-699-9404. The number, once again, 0912-699-9404. That number is available on WhatsApp as well. And if you are contributing through text, please remember to include your full name and where you're sending your message from. I have here in the studio two panelists who are driving the conversation. But let's remind you, the views and opinions of panelists as well as callers on this program are solely theirs and do not. We engage briefly and later on we'll start taking your calls. Stay with us. Welcome back from that short break, dear listener. Thank you for which is also essential to holding the government accountable to the people, ensuring proper checks and balances. The legislature is transparent in
I don't feel transparent in carrying the legislature is to make laws. That's the primary responsibility. To make laws for the peace, order and good government of Nigeria. That's for the National Assembly. And also for the state government, the legislature is to make laws for the peace, order and good government of the state. Away from that, they are supposed to carry on oversight functions. They are supposed to confirm appointments from the president and the governor, as the case may be, in areas where the Constitution has empowered or required that they make such confirmations. And so something very strange is happening to our democracy. As a person, I don't think it is proper. Rather than allow these people focus on their business of lawmaking, the issue of constituency projects is a huge distraction to the legislators. Why do I say this? Demand is shifting from lawmaking to project execution, which should be ordinarily the responsibility of the executive. Now, when somebody goes in as a senator or a House of Representative member or a member of a state House of Assembly, he literally forgets that he is elected to go and make laws. What he is focused on, how many projects am I coming to execute in my place? Such that if you ask them, many of these people don't have bills they have sponsored from national to state. Many of them have no bills that they have sponsored. Not even issues of urgent public importance. And so when you don't have these kind of things, they don't come home to organize town hall meetings with their constituents. That is where you should start. As a legislator, be you a senator or a member of the House of Representatives, you are expected to once in a while come home, meet with the people, talk to them. If anytime there is a policy, like SK said, during the Obasa members of the House of Representatives went to their constituencies and held town hall meetings, many of them still do it. Some of them still do it, but many don't do. Because once they get there, their own is, let me come and do this project, so that I can get re-election. It's not even about the lawmaking, that they are being elected. And so it's not surprising that many of these people don't go home to talk to their people. What are they going there to do? When you go, the people are asking you for a project. Come and build this primary school. Come and dig a borehole. Come and do this and do that for us. Whereas these duties ordinarily should be the duty of the executive. And so there is no participation. But let me not say it is wholesome, because I know that the people in Benue, particularly those in the National Assembly, they've been trying. I know that some of them have sponsored bills some of them have raised motions of urgent public importance, drawn attention of the federal government to the issues disturbing Benue State, not once, not twice. And so I commend the members of the National Assembly, particularly those from Benue, for the job they have been doing. And some of them have been coming home to talk to the people. But I expect that where elaborate, expanded stakeholders meetings should be held, not just coming to meet the members of your political party. No, you are elected as a senator. You are the senator of everybody, be the person in APC, be the person in PDP. When you hold town hall meetings, they should, every aspect of this sections should be represented. The people will talk to you so that when you go back, you are speaking their mind. You don't just stand up to say that I speak for these people. Meanwhile, you have not seen them for the whole year. So so that's the issue.
All right.
Now, for the State Assembly,
Yes.
this one is okay. I should have said it's pathetic. It's pathetic because some of these people, since they came to Makurdi, they only go home when there is a Thanksgiving or a burial. And as soon as the burial is gone, they are running back to Makurdi. If it is, they don't engage their people. They don't engage their people. Some of them, even in their houses, the doors are not open, so that you cannot rush them and tell them this is a problem I have. Because if you want to table a petition before the State House of Assembly, it can only fly through your member. It is the person representing you in the House that will tender such a petition on your behalf. And so some of these people lock up their gates. They don't see the people, yet they say they are representing us. When they stand up to speak in plenary, they say I speak for the good people of this so constituency, and they have not seen us for over a year. And so let the people who are elected to represent us, either in the National Assembly or the State House of Assembly, hold regular meetings with us. Stakeholder engagement, very, very important. They will carry us along better.
All right. Now, Mr. Sam Kangi, also
Yes.
talk to us. There is the worry that the legislature at all levels seem to just pander to the whims and caprice of the executive. To what extent would this impact on ensuring separation of powers, checks and balances, and transparency for the benefit of the citizen? Briefly, before we engage with the listener.
Yeah, it has been so for quite some time, but there are sparks here and there where the legislature has ensured its independence and has walked away from certain things that the executive wants them to do at the national and at the state levels. An instance is the third-term bid of President Obasanjo, which was rejected by the National Assembly outrightly. And that was a show of independence too. And I must also say that to 2003, after a long spur from
Military.
a long spur from, I don't even want to say military rule, from civil rule that was not necessarily democracy. Okay. Because I don't even think that what we have now is a democracy. It's not. It's just by the people for the people, and we all know it. We are just civilians that are there ruling. And that is why they
anyway, if you go by the definition in the books of governance, they term it democracy. So let's accept it as democracy and speak within that context.
No, we need to. That is part of transparency, because our governments are not transparent. They have not been able to give us the opportunity to know the difference between democracy and civil rule. It is our duty to educate us as part of transparency, so that we'll be equipped with the knowledge to determine what they are doing and determine the kind of governance that we are in. And so we need to also use this opportunity, since we are talking about transparency,
yes,
and key it in so that people in government will know. For instance, the way the government of Nigeria is run at the federal level and in the Benue State is not democratically so. We have pointed out issues where assemblies are not consulted, the people are not consulted. That is not a democracy. That is civil rule. It's between democracy and the military rule. Yes. If a military leadership is consulting with the people on all aspects of their economy and well-being, like the guy in Burkina Faso is doing, that can be a democracy even though the lead man is a military officer. He consults with his people, they brainstorm, and they agree on certain things to be done. And so because you are wearing agbada and suit like me, and you are there and you are being dictatorial, means you are actually a dictator in civilian clothing.
All right. So that established. Conclude your thoughts on the legislature.
Yes, the legislature so far.
To civil.
Yes. No, it's part of it. The legislature has actually not exerted its independence on issues concerning the people of this country and Benue State in particular. And that is why when people say they are rubber stamped, you can just pretend that you didn't hear, so that you don't get involved at that level. Because I expect that at every point that there is a bill on the floor of the House on any matter concerning my people, I ought to be consulted.
Yeah.
Not as a person. I'm saying in this case, my constituency needs to be consulted so that we can brainstorm and see how well it fits the people of Benue or otherwise. So if you're not having town halls, if you're not coming to engage with us, of course, I don't want to agree wholly with Dan that they dash in and dash out of their constituencies, because some of them are actually consulting. But again, go and take up constituency projects. No. He should have oversight for constituency projects in his constituency.
Yes.
He's not supposed to be involved in executing them. So that is wrong. But because we don't know, we are now beginning to think that those projects are no longer in the realm of the executive and have now been transferred to the legislature. So our legislature must build that primary school for us. He must fix that borehole for us. He should be responsible for that road leading to our community. How many of us know as citizens that we can actually demand? If we don't know, we cannot initiate these bills. But there are private bills that can be initiated in the houses of assembly, both at the national and at the state levels. So what have they done to that effect? Nothing. So we assume that they should do. And sometimes, even when you volunteer sensitive information to them on what is happening in your community, they don't go ahead to do that. Yes. If the legislature, you can actually agree with the Executive Council if what both of you are doing is for the common benefit of the people. We are not saying that the legislature should be fighting the Executive Council. No, that is not what we're talking about here. We are saying that you should engage with them frontally on issues that involve the people of the state and the nation. If this is not going to be beneficial to the people, to my people, Your Excellency the Governor, Your Excellency the President, I'm saying no to it. If it's good, oh, thumbs up for you, my President, thumbs up for you, my Governor. This is the kind of thing that we want. So it becomes easier to engage at that level. Other than that, you are rubber stamped.
All right. Okay, on that note, dear listener, we'll start engaging with you now, and the number to phone in 0814-335-9292, 0814-335-9292. Once you connect with us, we're interested in knowing your full name and where you are calling from. Then you go ahead and make your submission. Please keep it very brief. We'd like to remind you again, the views of panelists and our callers on this program are solely theirs and not necessarily the editorial policy of this program or iGate Radio. We'll start engaging with you now, and the line is available. Hello, good morning, and welcome to Perspectives.
Hello, good morning, my brother.
Good morning, welcome.
Thank you. It's my Benue State.
Benue is very calm.
I appreciate you people for have had your discussion. It's good morning. I appreciate all of your talk this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, this is Odode on the line, calling from Muslim 4.
All right, good to have you join us, Odode.
You see, I'm really sitting down and asking myself a question, the democracy we're playing in this country, Nigeria. Do you know that if you step down to Rwanda, we just look at it as one of the most common countries. Go and see the democracy in Rwanda. You see the level of some development, some things that have been doing. I kept making emphasis to that environment because the crisis that got to that environment that will have thrown them out of what, policy of democracy will be all about. Today, if you go there, you see a lot of things there, a lot of transformation, a lot of things going on. These are just little African countries, we could call them. But I've come to Nigeria and I asked myself one or two questions. How do we get it right? We can only get it right when we have independent, independent coordination of somebody who is coming out to run a political, a public party is coming out from. Not party bringing them and imposing on the citizens. It cannot be accountable to you. It comes here today that has been elected by the people. It was not. And then take round and ask yourself a question. Since the restriction of democracies today, how many of about the lawmaker, the governors, the president that have been sincerely elected by the people? It's an imposement of government we are seeing. So what do you expect from those people? They've come out and they demonstrated what they want. You have no right. Go to court. Court, they will go there and subdue judiciary to their own decrement and then make sure that we cannot have a voice. But I think I'm seeing a hope in the sense that there are a lot of what is coming up. But let me tell you, the next generation that is going to spring forward, going to hold our leader accountable to an extent that it will come to an extent that we'll begin to see the real democracies in Nigeria. That is my hope, and that dream will surely come to true.
All right.
You get what I'm saying now? Understanding with ourselves for now, especially with ourselves, to see how we can be able to
play politics of understanding. And Ode is your transparency in government. Hello, good morning, and welcome to Perspectives.
Good morning. This is Moses from Welfare Quarters.
Moses, who? We'd like to know your full
name. Moses Iyo from Welfare Quarters.
All right, go ahead.
I'm grateful with their discussion in the guest. Where you are guests, I thank them very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Most of us doesn't know that the governor has no power to do all these things we're doing. I'd like the quotation that my brother is quoting there. He thought at the thought of House of Assembly, they doesn't challenge. They don't know they have right to challenge the governor of doing all those things, giving contract without consulting anybody. Nobody in the stakeholders challenge. The governor thought he's still in the church to take his personal decision and do something.
Hello,
which is not wrong.
Moses Iyo?
Huh?
Yeah, it's not just about the governor. Like our discussion it doesn't target any specific governor. So speak within the context of our general discussion and don't focus on any name calling at all. Hello, Moses? Oh, Moses is off already. In any case, let it be clearly established that we are speaking in particular.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning and welcome to Perspectives.
Good morning, Nathan Nongo. Good morning, guests in the house.
Thank you.
Good morning.
My name is Kefa S.E. Tuluke, calling from KN Kano, northwest part of Nigeria this morning.
Wow. All right. Kefa Tuluke, welcome to Perspectives.
Thank you for anchoring this program this morning.
Yes.
My take on this topic of discussion, you see, we, the electors, sometimes when somebody is vying for any election position, sometimes the supporter is elected, they should want the person should dance on his twin. And it's not like that. Even though if you sponsor the person, you are not alone that sponsor that person. Even though if you are alone, you are not the one who elect him or vote for him, only you. There is the masses electoral that they vote. So if you are elected, let you perform your duty. Don't look whether this somebody sponsor you or you go further. Stand on your feet. You have been elected there to go and represent your people. So I wonder why when those people they elected, they will not be performing actively. And this thing is causing a lot of problems in our democracy now. So to me, my take is that or where to go. That is my take this morning.
All right. Thank you. Interest of the citizen. I think that's a summary of Tefa's submission. Good morning, and thank you for joining us on the program.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Welcome.
Yeah, my name is James Ahua from Igbo.
Very well. Welcome, Mr. James Ahua. Why is Igbo this
morning?
Yes,
I guess you are talking, your perspective is centered on good governance.
Yeah, transparency in governance.
And yes.
Citizens' participation. The place of the citizen like yourself in Igbo.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
All right. James, go ahead.
Yes. The bane of our problem in governance is our recruitment process. Our recruitment process is not the best as it is. That is why it is not possible, it is difficult to hold our representative of or political people occupying political power or a position in government. It is difficult to hold them accountable because one of your analysts is that even though you disagree with him that we are practicing democracy, our democracy is sitting on its head. We are not doing it based on the real tenets of democracy. We are doing the opposite of what democracy stands for or what it holds. So, talking about our recruitment process, in Senate clients, what they do is the people who are representing us, if they are truly elected, what they are supposed to do in such position they are occupying, the next election that is coming, they will be thrown out. But because what we see is garbage in, garbage out, whatever, there's nothing transparent in the electionary processes. So I came to my village. I reside in Abuja, but I came to Benue State last year in September when local government elections were being held. But what I saw, I witnessed was there was nothing to show that there is an election on that day. So I asked, they said there is local government election. Where in my center serves as a collection center, and I did not see a chair or a table to show that this is where election result would be collected. And I asked, they say I'm living in the past. That is what is obtained in the past. I was shocked to my marrow. I was saying, oh, so what do you expect? Do you expect this kind of people to come back to you to ask you questions, to have administration in Benue State? But I keep way forward.
Transparency and integrity. Hello, 0814-335-9292. The line is available. The SMS line is 0912-699-9404. Good morning, and thank you for joining us on Perspectives.
Good morning. This is Friday Ogbodo from International Market Road.
All right, good to have you join us, Friday Ogbodo. Go ahead.
Thank you, Nat, and your guests in the studio.
Thank you
very much.
To my friend SK and the other discussant there.
Thank you.
Democracy of our time is actually very simple to run. And the question is no, we don't hold them accountable. I will start from this way. That sometimes also the radio station, when people are airing their views and it's maybe against the government of Benue State, the moderator would say, no, don't go this, like Nathaniel was trying to do this morning. Allow the people to express themselves. They should be transparent. The radio stations should be transparent and allow people to air their views. Okay. They are not of the opinions of the radio station.
Ogbodo, let me...
Don't defend yourself.
Ogbodo, let's clear an impression. This is not just about Nathaniel. It's about, as a matter of policy of Agate Radio, that we don't accept name calling. If you speak in general context of what we are discussing, no problem. We have no problem with that. So just, if you want to make your submission and it's within the context of what we are discussing generally and not focusing on name calling, no problem. So that's just to make it clear to you and every other listener.
And my brother,
yes,
just give your people who call in to express their opinions about issues to express. You have told, I make a disclaimer already, it is not the views of your radio station.
All right. Okay, now talk to us. You are on already. You've been speaking.
I'm on the issue of transparency.
Good.
To start first from, I'm a Benue State person. I have a local government where I come from. What is being done at the state and the local government is of utmost importance to me before I won't go to the federal government. The internal generated revenue of each local government and the state in Benue State today is not being published every month like you see the federal government does. From what the federal government gets from all aspects of its income, is that being done? It comes and boils down to the issue of transparency. our people are being killed. It seems like the social media is the only way that Nigerians people can actually voice out the issue of transparency. When it comes to allocations of projects in communities, in local government, in areas, these issues are there. I want to beg our state government, the local government, as the federal government is doing, publish what you get as internal generated revenue every month. The project that you are doing, the federal government is doing it, so it's not a difficult thing. The state government should do that. Let's know what we have. The roads that are going to be constructed in each local government, in everywhere, should be published. The issue of transparency, we have the remuneration of interest form is picked, and the process is done, and projects are allocated, so that execution of those projects, but in a place where the assembly can give a waiver, a fiat waiver to the governor, and it goes to appoint road project in whosoever homes that he likes, should not. We, the citizens, also have our duties and responsibilities to ask the people within the same period that you have been in office.
Okay.
We, the citizens, know that we have the right, but we need to do mass mobilization for them to account for us how the government is run.
All right. Thank you very much, Friday. We appreciate your submission.
Thank you very much.
We hope Agate Radio has allowed you to air your view transparently. If you speak within the context, no problem. Like this stated. So, hello, good morning, and thank you for joining us on Perspectives. Hello, welcome to the program. Hello, you are on. Talk to us. Oh, quite unfortunate you're on, but your voice is not coming through. I'm afraid we may have to disconnect. But the line is available. If you are not able to connect, simply send an SMS. Hello, good morning, and thank you for joining us on Perspectives. Hello. Okay, I'm sorry. You may have to move away from your radio and try to call in again. Once you connect with us, the first thing to do, move away from your radio set completely. That's the only way we can engage on the program. Hello, good morning. Hello. Oh, yet again, we lost connection with the caller. The SMS line is also available, 0912-699-9404. The one for calls is 0814-335-9292. Good morning, and welcome to the program. Hello. Okay, sometimes the network may not be transparent. It's part of the challenge. It seems like that there's a glitch somewhere. Hello, good morning.
Sorry, I have to add this little word again. This will call back, please. Sorry.
Okay, just 30 seconds.
Yes, I would like the government of the state for the day, which in the platform of sincerity, I listened to the chat he had late for some period, just I think last week ago, and he is there to do the will of the people, and therefore I would like him to really pick correction from these anchor programs, and then to be able to give us some pictures of a resembling of a priesthood, so that we can be able to see some relief.
Okay.
We appreciate what he's doing,
Thank you.
I want us to go into more of the transparency aspect, so that we can see the priesthood.
All right. Thanks so much, Ode. We appreciate you for calling in. You called in earlier, so yours is just a return call, but the line is available, 0814-335-9292. So we engage with other listeners. Well, good morning, and thank you for joining us on the program.
Good morning, Mr. Nathan Lungo. Good morning to your guests in the studio.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Yes, I am Engineer Sunday Akpa, calling from Norfolk, Makodi.
All right.
Your guests have spoken very, very well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But I only want to talk on this issue of the road from Wurukun to Epozor to Tumbo or whatever. I want to correct an impression that I am an engineer, so I think I should enlighten the public. One of the guys say there are roads around. Why are they dabbling into federal government roads? It is done. So it is done like that sometimes. When the federal government is so busy, they give their standards that this is the type of specification we want on this road. And the state government, in collaboration with them, they come back with a bill, and then they can do that road, after which the state government will be reimbursed. Spend your money, you do it, because the federal government is too busy. They will be reimbursed. I think that is what is happening about. And they will be transporting the heavy-duty vehicles with axle loads. The design of that road may be different, more special than other roads. So when you set a bill of quantities, after the order, then you'll be able to come out whether the contract sum is inflated or not. So they have to check the bill of quantities first, see the items on that road, and the type of work they are going to do on that road. That when we have done that, then we'll be able to speak authoritatively whether it can be inflated or not just public opinion. So that's what I want to enlighten the public.
All right. Thank you.
The lady who is in charge of public procurement in Benue and the contractor all appeared before the Benue State House of Assembly and spoke in discordant tunes. Are you aware of that?
What they said, I listened to it. The first item was the road project airport base. That was 28 billion naira. Then it has been extended beyond that, where there's no existing dual carriageway. There's going to do another bridge at Mude.
All right.
Go beyond that. So it is a new one.
Engineer, just hold on. Hold on. Let me chip in something.
Let's allow him off so we don't have to exhaust his airtime. Gentlemen, just a moment.
Oh, it's not a return call?
No, it's not. Gentlemen, what I would want us to, let's take action on that, because if we are to discuss that exhaustively, we will need the government people, maybe the Director General of the Bureau of Public Procurement to appear with us. So if there are government positions we need to defend.
That's fine.
Let's avoid that issue. It just crept into our discussion as an example of transparency you were talking about. But let's not focus on the details of
That's fine.
Yeah. Hello, good morning. Good morning. Those who understand it in the context of what you said should. Hello, good morning, and thank you for joining us. Transparency in it. Okay, let's know your name and where you are calling in from.
So my name is Kwata Gabriel. I'm calling from Wanune local government.
Oh, great. How is Wanune, Kwata Gabriel?
We are good, yeah.
All right.
Just that we are not good as a people of the state because of this Fulani killings and all of that.
Okay. All right.
All right. So before I start, I want to ask you this: how do you expect a building that stands on a shaky foundation to last? It's very impossible, right?
Okay, Kwata, so go ahead. Maybe I will assume that yours is a rhetorical question. I do not know what you mean by that. But go ahead and make your submission.
So what I mean is this. How do you expect transparency to occur in leadership when the institutions that bring those political leaders into power are not transparent? That is the side of the question that I asked you. Hello, can you hear me?
You're on. Go ahead.
Yes. So when you look at the scenarios that bring those people, I don't call them leaders. They are political businessmen. When you look at the scenario that bring those political businessmen into power, it's very laughable. So how do you expect them to be transparent to the masses? It becomes a very difficult task. All of you and I know how the INEC involved in bringing those people into power. Power in Nigeria goes to the highest bidder. If you have money, you are a political businessman already. You are bound to become a leader at when you want. Now, coming back to we as a people, how do we talk about transparency when we are divided as a people? Look at what is happening in Nigeria now. Things are very difficult. You and I are facing this hardship. Everybody is facing it. But when you voice out, it's either these people use the security agencies against men. We are divided. I belong to this camp. This one belongs to this camp. So that when you air out, the other camp come against people. We need to be collective in calling these people to order and for them to be accountable to us. We are the people that voted them into power. And they cannot be there without we here as a people. So our attitude first as a people speaks for us.
Okay.
So that these people will be transparent to us and also be accountable to us at the same time. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabriel Kwata, for calling in. We appreciate your submission. He has spoken to the citizens. That's the followership. You need to unite in asking and demanding transparency, accountability from government at all levels. Good morning, and thank you for joining us on Perspectives. Breaking. We are not
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, speak on now. We can hear you. What's your name and where are you calling us
from?
I'm
calling from North Bank here in Makodi.
Okay, Banwan, go ahead.
Yes, greeting to the guest in the studio.
Yeah, thank you, Mr.
Thank you very much.
Hello, Teso Banwa.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, maybe you want to change your position. We are told that in Nigeria, if you change your position from another place, network sometimes improves. So maybe you want to change where you are to another location so we can hear you better.
Can you hear me?
Yes, speak on. If we hear you, fine.
Yes. You're talking about transparency at the local government level. I do listen to the radio on daily basis. If you listen to the female prime minister, she tendered her letter of resignation just because she wasn't transparent and she was not. I mean, she didn't meet up with the responsibilities that she was supported for. Can you hear me?
Yes. If provided I do not interrupt you, just continue talking. If I don't hear you, I will be the first to prompt you.
Office holder who fails to be transparent or fails to perform his own roles and responsibilities should be able to tender his or her resignation letter, just like it happens in foreign countries. It happens here, even happen in Nigeria. Anybody, you see people who doesn't perform well, but they remain there. So why not tender resignation letter and leave office for another person who is competent enough to occupy the office and do well? I'm of the opinion that in Nigeria, anybody who fails to meet up with the responsibilities of the members of the public should quietly tender resignation letter and leave the office to on.
Thank you, Gabriel. Thanks, we appreciate you. Teso, anybody who is not able to on such accounts. Hello, good morning, and thank you for joining us. Okay, manager, Manager, could you speak up a little bit so we hear you better? Project your voice.
You see, this is of a perspective in government. The problem is who will bet the cat. We know the truth. And the Bible says that the truth shall set you free. Now look at what that honorable guest told us. That they had a meeting and one man was able to dispute what the whole house agreed on in respect to that Fulani issue. Then, after realizing that issue, then what happened now? What action did they take? No action was taken. And the problem continued. So, if you are honorable guest, I want to thank you very much for your
Manager, thank you. Let's disconnect with you. I appreciate you. Already, the thank you. There's nothing more you can say. More appropriate to convey your thank you. Let's take some messages before we come back, and we begin from the SMS box here. This one says the 10th Assembly is the weakest assembly of all time in Benue. The executive have overshadowed them. Benue projects are not deliberated upon. Rather, it is done by decree. John Nenge, Excellence from Behind Correctional Service, Yakio Makudi. All right, John Nenge, that's your opinion. Good morning, presenter, with your guests. Accountability, transparency, and citizens' participation are absent in our democracy, which makes it simply a civil rule. This topic is highly educative at a time like this. Thank you, Agate Radio, for this all-important topic. Joe Kennedy from International Market in Makudi. Joe Kennedy, thank you. Another one here says, we need to change around table what we are used to, square or rectangular table. Meetings for transparency may lead work since the anymore.
Let's bring a rectangular table.
Yeah. Another one here says, thank you, I get radio for this topic on perspectives today. Lack of transparency and accountability remain a great challenge of democracy, not only in Nigeria, but in many parts of Africa. Democracy has structures and principles that must be adhered to. When that is not done, dividends of democracy cannot happen effectively. We need serious orientation like the one you are doing to enhance good governance in Nigeria and indeed Africa. Thanks and greetings to the guests in the studio, especially the great SK Sam Kange. Thanks again.
Thank you.
John Uchara from Federal Character Commission. Okay, John Uchara, thanks for your message. Good morning, sir. This is Gabriel Kamo from Bajimba. Our local government are not transparent to us. Here in Bajimba Market Square, Here in Bajima Market Square, the building is down, and we have people representing us, like water, husband attack, not addressing insecurity. We lack public trust in them. Okay, come on. Thank you for your message. And we also have some comments on our live stream feed here, which will accommodate those that we can look at. A few of them are coming in. Atondu Gabriel Tefa, he says he have joined us live from Kano City. Gabriel, thanks for following us. Omasite Humphrey, he says he's following us live from Goma local government. Omase, thanks. And Festus Emmanuel is also live in Abuja. Abo Timothy is also live in Boko, Benue State. Thank you, gentlemen, for following our conversation and stay with us. Hello, good morning, and welcome to the program. Hello. Hello, good morning. Okay, I'm worried that maybe, I don't know, the telecom companies seem to have an understanding not to allow us to take some calls or what, I don't know. Hello, good morning. Hello. Because the last batch of calls that came in, the audio wasn't too good, and some we simply cannot hear you anymore. But we'll continue to attempt to 43359292. The SMS line is 091269999404. Good morning, and thank you for joining us. Hello. All right. Anyway, I think we should pause the calls temporarily. But just one attempt more, and then we'll see how it goes. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Nathan.
Good morning.
Good morning. This is Sayede. Yes, this is Sayede calling from OGRA.
All right, Sayede, come. Go ahead. OGRA, Makudi, I suppose.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good.
My regards to your guest. You have spoken well.
Thank you.
Thank you very
but
much.
I have a question for if they can give me an answer or our government can give me an answer, because I want to know our way bill in Benue State. Because on his chart, he didn't. They asked him about way bill and he dodged the distance. So we want to know. We Benue people want to know our way bill in Benue State. That's my distance. Thank you for. Thank you. I'm still waiting for my answer, sir.
Could that be the only question you have for us?
Yes, sir,
okay.
for now.
Okay, yeah. So let's be pointed that on this engagement, no government official is here. So the analysts
No. No government
Yeah,
official is here, but that is not exactly what is the input of that question. The input is about transparency.
Okay.
He even mentioned that the governor dodged that question.
Okay.
It means that
just listen.
Just listen now. Transparency. It means that issues of way to make available to us information, the government should bring up a lay friend. It took so much long to get this information. There was back and forth, this and that, director no, this and that, director no, director yes, all of these things, all in an attempt to to make him get tired of the process and leave. By the time he got that information and took the federal government to court, it was another thing altogether. And so this is something that the Freedom of Information Bill Act as it is called, is already enacted. And we should have access to it once you bring it up. And we should have access to it once you bring it up. But we don't have that. I'm sure
it does not need domestication in the state.
Because
once it's a federal law,
good.
It applies everywhere.
You see, that is even an aspect that I don't even know.
Yes.
And assuming that the majority of our people don't know this, they may not be in position to question the government on its transparency engagement with us. So we ought to know. I think that is what Tehide is saying. Thank you very much.
All right. So Tehide, anyway, even though we didn't quote the figure, you may have understood the reasons why. But such information, like you have mentioned, just with technology, they should be able to click somewhere and see online, transparently, that this is what is the wage bill of my state. Now, Mr. Pillar, one of the callers also talked about the integrity of our electoral processes and the quality of what they produce as those he described, which I wouldn't want to quote him. You listened to him.
Yes, I did.
Tell us, within this context that we are producing,
it is very difficult. It's difficult, but the problem is with the Constitution. Election either for the office of the president, or a governor of a state, or the Senate, House of Representatives, House of Assembly of a state constituency, you must belong to a political party. And it is that political party that was 1999 until it's amended. And independent candidate is embedded in the Constitution. We will continue to have leaders like that, because truly I cannot disagree with those who are questioning the recruitment process of candidates, and sponsorship is a preserve of the party. Of course, there are certain areas which the court will also delve into the nominations, where a political party has set its rules and then defaulted. But generally, it is a political party who has the mandate to nominate the person the party wants to field for a particular office in an election. And so the general electorate only come into contact with these people after they have been nominated by those political parties. Most times, you have more than 10 people aspiring for a particular office. The party will decide to pick the list out of them for their own reasons. You see, office, and the electors cannot do anything, because you can only come to vote the person after the person has been sponsored by that political party. So the recruitment is faulty. I cannot dispute that fact. But the way forward is only the amendment of the Constitution, and that is where we call for transparency from the people representing us in the National Assembly. Amendment of the 1999 Constitution does not only stop at start and end with the National Assembly. This kind of thing will have to be sent to state houses of assembly, 36 of them, and until you have 2/3 majority of the state houses of assembly voting in favor of a particular amendment, it cannot fly. And then they are now transmitted to the state houses of assembly. Certain persons, or let me say the assemblies, now block those amendments. Take, for instance, the issue of local government autonomy has been on for several years. Each time it flies, it goes to the state house of assembly, they block it. The amendment is not able to secure 2/3 majority of the state house of assembly, and it ends like that. And so until there is sensitization, the people must rise up. The people must rise up to tell the people, tell the National Assembly members, tell their own houses of assembly, look, we want an independent candidate, and you must give us. If it means protesting, if it means holding rallies, if it means going to radio stations to campaign, they need to do it.
Coming to radio stations, but we don't advocate protest.
Okay. No. But also part of protest is allowed. Part of it.
Yeah. So
that's part of citizenship engagement.
And since I have the time, let me just
conclude.
Okay, let me just go ahead. Now, you look at when we're talking about transparency in Benue State for 5 months, a whole arm of government has been on strike. A whole arm of government. The judiciary has been grounded for 5 months today. 5 solid months. We don't care about the suspects. The people who are held in police stations, because they are supposed to be charged to court after 24 hours or at the conclusion of investigations for whatever they are being held for. 5 months prior action, they were exempted from the minimum wage that was paid to other civil servants in the state.
Yeah, I think they said the minimum wage for judicial, their cadre is different.
But it boils down to the minimum wage.
Yes.
That is why they have been on strike. A transparent government shouldn't allow judiciary to be on strike for 5 months. And we don't even know if they are holding meetings, because I have not seen any. I've not read anywhere that the state government is sitting down with Jusun to talk about the strike action. I am disappointed. Seriously, because you know that 1 week of judiciary strike is going to cause a lot of problems, a lot of havoc. So many people are now in jail. Those on awaiting trial, they are just being there. Some would have gotten their bail if their matters were called. Some was just for bail. They have been there for 5 months, 5 solid months. People who, for very small crimes, have been there. It is wrong.
Right.
That shouldn't be.
All right. Our time is no longer there, but just a few more engagement. You have concluded. I assume that you have concluded your thoughts already on that. Hello, good morning. Okay. Let's see, at 0814-335-9292. Just one or two last calls, then we'll conclude. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Nathan.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Yes. I must greet the panel in the studio.
Yes, thank you. Save us the greetings now. We do not have the time. Just go ahead straight to the point and talk to us.
Yes. It is unfortunate that our government has failed us.
Let's know your name, then you state your opinion.
I am Takuluku Anyamazinga. I'm calling from Abesemba Yongboko local government.
Okay.
It's unfortunate. Our government has failed us. No transparency. Nothing is going on. So we don't know in the next dispensation, maybe we will vote another person. They are not trying for us at all. No transparency. We don't know what is going on in the government, and it's just like that. So in respect of that, citizens are now desperate. They don't even trust the government again, the government of the day. So if they can try, we will still vote them in. If they cannot try, comes a day, we will vote them out.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Dakoko, thank you. That will be the last call we'll take because we do not have time. Sam Kange, we have listened to several of the callers, and also this whole transparency. There are some public opinion in the public domain, that sometimes the citizens do not demand adequate transparency and accountability from that government. Would you say the citizen is complicit as to why the government may not be transparent to them? Or
no, I wouldn't say the citizens are complicit to that effect, because the citizens don't know what they should demand from government. So if I'm not educated enough to know what is my due from you, or maybe I'm entitled to one, it's your duty as you undertake a project with me to let me understand that for this project, I am going to be giving you ₦1 at X, is to first and foremost enlighten the people. Tell them that this is what you need to do, that you need to vote, you need to demonstrate where there is need, you need to call us to question like we are doing now. Part of this transparency program has automatically called the government to question. So the government, I'm sure government machinery is listening to this conversation on radio, and they should be able to take appropriate action. Thank you very much. Appropriate action when due. So we need to educate our people to know what they demand of us. If you don't know what is the content of your syllabus, you may not be able to ask your lecturers or your teachers to teach you what is right.
All right. Our time is no longer there, so I will just give you 1 minute of your concluding thoughts, and this will be how can government institutions ensure transparency in their decisions.
We speak to the people as much as possible, not where. Let us know that we are protected under law to demonstrate where necessary. There must be a strong legal framework for our protection when we carry out the actions that we want to carry out. Thank you very much.
All right, Mr. Pila, your concluding thoughts, still in the same direction. The transparency in their decision making for the interest of the citizen.
Let me refer you to section 121 of the Constitution of Nigeria.
All right.
The governor shall cause to be prepared and laid before the House of Assembly at any time before the commencement of each financial year estimates of the revenues and expenditure of the state for the next following financial year. Section 120 sub 2 says no monies shall be withdrawn from the consolidated revenue fund of the state except to meet expenditure that is charged upon the fund by this constitution, or where the issue of those monies has been authorized by an appropriation law, supplementary appropriation law, or consolidation. You can read sub 3, sub 4 is all talking about the same thing. Now, we cannot have a state government that has frozen the accounts for 2 years, because we only heard that those accounts were frozen, and up to now we have not heard when they have been opened. For 2 years, state government accounts have been frozen and projects are being carried out. We wonder where the money is coming from, because if you look at, I don't have time, I would have delved into the Constitution. What am I saying? You cannot be elected by an office. You cannot be elected for an office that is created by law, and then in the name of being fame, violate the law at your
that establishes your authority.
It is the law that establishes your office, and when elected into this office, you have thrown away the law. Very unfortunate. We shouldn't be having this kind of conversations in the 21st century, where the Constitution is a grand norm and determines how government should be run. Now, Taylor asks about the wage bill. It is the governor who gives mandate. That's what they call mandate to pay salaries. He's the one who signs the mandate for payment of salaries. The man who is in charge of finance does not pay until the governor signs that mandate. It is that figure is there before he signs. He sees the figure, so it's not even a matter of thinking twice. He signs a mandate for payment of salaries every month, and should know the wage bill. This shouldn't be rocket science. You need to know. You need to tell the people because the payment.
All right.
One particular this thing, but roads and go and inflate the bills to get money from the federal government. So federal government say no, don't do our roads. But that's you say we shouldn't delve into it. Let me leave it at that. What am I trying to conclude? Oh, sorry. How do I conclude now? Government must be transparent. Hold town hall meetings. Go to radio stations and television, local television and radio stations. Talk to the people. Engage in phoning programs. Let the people call you as a governor, as a member, as a speaker of the state assembly, as a member of the Benue State House of Assembly, as a senator, as a member of the House of Representatives. Sit down on radio. Tell the people what you are doing. Let the people tell you what they want. I remember that there was a particular man who we always call the immediate past governor. He was always on radio. And one particular man who always called behind customary court of appeal. And the man kept, his demand was that they should construct that road. Please, Mr. Governor, construct this road. The man, because the immediate past governor was on radio almost every month. And it was a phony program. This man disturbed the governor until he had to tie that road from customary court up to JAM office.
All right.
These things should be done by the present government.
All right, that would be a fine place for us to leave it on today's edition of the program. Tena Samkang is a public affairs commentator based here in Makudi, and Daniel Pira is also a public affairs analyst. This gentleman joined us here on today's edition of Perspectives, which we focus our discussion on transparency in governance and citizens' participation. I must thank you both for your valuable insights on the program. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you
so much for having us here.
Dear listener, that's our program today. Join us Friday for a fresh edition. Have yourself a great week ahead. My name is Nathaniel Nogo. Goodbye.